executive leadership coach, speaker, author, trainer, learning leader, CEO, and founder of EMK Learning Solutions. So this month, the theme is leading forward without burning out, building capacity, connection, and mentorship for the second half of the year. It's hard to believe we're already in the month of June, right? It felt like the year just started like a week ago, right? And now we're already halfway, like what's happening? Anyway, but today the episode is about building leadership capacity, how to reduce the load without losing momentum. So let's connect with what we talked about last week. So last week we kicked off the theme with our media check-in. And so we asked this question, what am I ready to graduate from, right? We know there's a graduation season. So I asked the question, what are you ready to graduate from so you can stop leading from exhaustion and start building leadership capacity for the second half of the year? So whatever was your take action item last week, I hope you were able to successfully complete it. So this week now we can move to the next step, right, where you're wanting to identify one thing that is draining your capacity and decide whether what you want to do with it. Like, do you want to delegate it? Do you want to delete it? Do you want to pause? What is it that you want to do? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to share with you just some interesting facts, right? Many leaders want more capacity, but their calendars, their systems, their commitment, daily responsibilities are already packed full. So how is that even possible? Because they're carrying work that needs review, decisions, meetings that need their presence. I mean, they're just really overwhelmed. So when this load is too heavy, then how can that momentum be sustained? Let's take a look at an example, right? This scenario that you might find is familiar in your organization, or maybe that might be you, right, in this scenario. So imagine a leader who begins their week with a clear set of priorities and knows what needs her attention or his attention, what decisions matter, and what are the goals, to move forward. But they just get so overwhelmed by Monday, their calendar is packed full because they overscheduled themselves, right? And then now another meeting gets added again, and then now this other thing gets added again. And by the end of the day, even though the leader has been busy and all that, but the work that really required deepest focus did not move forward. This is something that many leaders go through. And talking about deep work, my personal experience, and this might work for you, this might not work for you, I had to find the time in the day that was most suitable for me to do deep work, right? And I would recommend a book, and one of my favorite books on this topic is called Deep Work by Cal Newport. I read that book in, I think, about 20-ish, maybe about that, or maybe 2019, during the COVID times, and it was really being able to focus amid the noise, and I would say that's one of my favorite books. So if you're someone who struggles in this area, you feel like, oh my gosh, I've done all these things, but it's not really something meaningful, that book is going to help you to figure out what does deep work look like for you, and what you can do moving forward. Right. So for this example that I just shared, right, she felt like she was working hard, but what really needed her focus, she didn't do it, and then at the end of the day, what happened? She would feel like, oh my gosh, she didn't accomplish much like she should have, and don't even realize what the issue is, right? And now at some point, she starts losing momentum. So what I would like to say is take some time and audit your work, like audit your systems, audit everything and see what's going on, right? Look at your calendar, your systems, your responsibilities, whatsoever you're working on. And you could ask yourself this question: what's taking you from your leadership capacity that is contributing to your impact, right? what's taking more from that. And then let me say this again. What is taking more from your capacity that is contributing to your impact? So maybe that question can help you identify what needs to change, right? And then so that way you're reducing the load. So when you're reducing the load, it's not about stepping away from your work, but stepping away from things that are not as important. Maybe that you have to delegate, or you might have to just schedule it to some other time and really focus on doing what matters most. Okay. So I've already shared a couple of things, but for me, I had to personally identify the time of the day that I know that I could do my deep work that was uninterrupted, and I put that time on my calendar and I block it and I make sure that is the only thing I do at that time, right? And if that could mean you have to put your phone somewhere else, you have to put your phone on focus if you're using an iPhone, where any call that comes through just goes to voicemail. Do what you have to do so that way you can be focused and do your deep work, right? And then when you're maybe at another time during the day when you've already accomplished that task, then you can do some other things, right? Take some time to focus, and then also ask yourself, what areas do I have to redesign in my work? What areas do I have to delegate? Or maybe even delete or pause, right? Ask yourself those questions. And then that way you can create the breathing room without losing momentum, okay? So that's actually what I have for you today. And as I wrap up, I just want to share with you just some highlights. As you move through your week, right, pay attention to what drains you, what takes more time than it should, and what depends on you unnecessarily that could be done by someone else. Then choose that one thing and make a shift, right? Maybe do you have to reduce the work? Do you have to redesign it? Do you have to delegate, or do you want to pause, right? Because once you're able to, reduce the load, it's not really about saying you're not going to do your work, right? But once you reduce the load of things that are draining you, right? That way you're not losing momentum. You're protecting that space, right? So you can be able to focus on what you were really supposed to be focused on. So as we close today's episode, I want to leave you with this thought. Capacity is not created by pushing harder. It's about creating capacity by leading differently. So I would like to thank you for tuning into the Empowerment Minutes podcast. Hopefully these ideas can help you move forward. And if this episode resonated with you, I would like to encourage you to share it with another leader who may be, feeling like they're just being too drained right now. And then they want to listen to this episode so they can ask permission within themselves, or take the necessary permission to lighten the load and move forward, right? So until next time, I want to say keep leading, and keep learning, and keep building the capacity that will lead forward without burning out.